Hello guys, you are seeing Prime News Australia, where we show you the latest and important news of Australia in the fastest and reliable way. So come, let's start by not delaying. 25 big updates of the Australia, especially for you. Before proceeding in the video, comment by commenting from which state you are watching, and also like video, so that YouTube can reach this video to more people of Australia. Donald Trump calls the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to strike down his sweeping tariffs deeply disappointing, as he announces a new 10% levy on global imports. With a 6-3 majority, the court ruled Trump exceeded his authority when he imposed tariffs via a law reserved for national emergencies. They say he needs congressional approval to impose taxes on imports. As expected, Trump says he will attempt to reimpose tariffs, but he's yet to spell out the detail. Cash-strapped Australian motorists are either delaying or abandoning essential car services in a bid to save money. A risky and worrying trend experts are keen to put the brakes on. A CanStar survey of more than 2,700 car owners found 49% had pushed back a trip to the mechanic or ditched it in the past year due to cost of living pressures. A Victorian man missed multiple calls before he found out he had won Thursday's entire $80 million Powerball jackpot. The Altona retiree held the only Division I winning entry nationally in Powerball Draw 1552 and now shares the title of the state's biggest lottery winner ever. An official from the lot tried to contact the winner immediately after the draw, but the calls went straight to voicemail. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is set to be ousted from the line of succession after his shock arrest. Andrew was 8 in the line to the throne. Despite being stripped of his titles, however, will now become the first senior royal in history to be axed after his arrest over his links to Epstein. Police have charged a man after a car was used to ram the gates of a synagogue in Brisbane. Officers say the man was driving a Toyota Hilux utility when he knocked down the gates of the property in Margaret Street in Brisbane's CBD shortly after 7 p.m. on Friday. The driver fled the scene before being taken into custody a short time later. No one was injured during the incident. Conditions in the northeastern Syrian camp, where 34 Australians have been forcibly returned, are deteriorating dramatically, with reports of near-nightly raids and increasingly violent beatings, amid worsening uncertainty over their futures. The 11 women and 23 Australian children forced back to Roge camp on Monday returned to find their tents, formerly huddled collectively in a row known as Australia Street, demolished and their possessions seized. A little more than 2 years out from the next federal election, there is something of a realignment going on across the colour-coded hallways of Parliament House. After a torrid 9 months of post-election hell for the Liberals and the Nationals, Angus Taylor has taken over the reins of the coalition. A new opposition energy, especially on the economy, is already evident. Sky News Australia has announced that it will become News 24 later this year, after losing the rights to its current name. The News Corp platform has been forced to rebrand, as it loses the rights to the name Sky News in December, when a 10-year deal with UK Sky News expires. The company had been waiting for regulatory approval after requesting trademarks on 6 different brand names. Australian Muslims prepared for Ramadan this week. The leader of the second most popular political party in the country, Senator Pauline Hanson, said of them, "Their religion concerns me because of what it says in the Quran. They hate Westerners. You say, well, there's good Muslims out there. Well, I'm sorry. How can you tell me there are good Muslims? None of this is surprising." This same senator has twice worn a burqa into Parliament, wrongly claimed that halal certification funds terrorism, and wanted a royal commission into Islam. At the same time as Hanson made her comments, Sydney's Lakemba Mosque has said it is facing the most alarming situation since Cronulla, due to repeated threatening letters arriving at its doors. A large Melbourne mosque says it has increased security ahead of Ramadan, due to Islamophobic incidents. This is after repeated reports of Islamophobia in Australia being at the highest recorded level. More recently, we have had the pronouncements of the new Liberal leadership, which talks of Australian values that must be adopted before you can enter our country. On face value, this is absolutely right. However, it is not right if, as some fellow travelers have implied, these values extend to migrants having to agree to a way of life akin to that of the 1950s. Then there is the recent uttering of Pauline Hanson. I will not repeat them here. This thinking that all in the Muslim community must be viewed with suspicion is the inevitable ugly destination for seeking the primacy of one culture and belief system, to the denigration of others. The family of an Aboriginal man fatally run down before the driver bragged about his death are angry and heartbroken after their brother's killer has again avoided jail on appeal. In June 2024, Jake Danby hit 2 Aboriginal men with his car on a Darwin Street, killing one and injuring the other. He was handed a 12-month community corrections order, with 5 months in home detention. Australia ended their disappointing T20 World Cup campaign with a crushing 9-wicket win over Oman in their final group match in Palakkale. After bowling Oman out for 105, Captain Mitchell Marsh gunned down the 105-run target in just 9.4 overs. The coalition will take a bold alternative to Labour's childcare platform to the next election that may include tax breaks and income splitting for parents, as battle lines are drawn on Anthony Albanese's legacy policy of universal childcare. Cootamundra, a rural town in Australia, brings the beach to them each summer for an annual volleyball competition. It started 25 years ago and now boasts 10 courts and almost 200 teams. People travel from as far as Melbourne and Sydney for the event, including the BBC. An Australian sports presenter has apologized after a clip of her slurring her way through a live cross from the Winter Olympics in Italy went viral, with even Australia's Prime Minister weighing in. Channel 9 reporter Danica Mason said she had misjudged the situation by drinking ahead of her appearance on live television, also blaming the altitude, the cold, and her failure to eat dinner. "I want to take full responsibility. It's not the standard I set myself," she said during another appearance a day later, adding that she was embarrassed. Australia has barred a citizen linked to the Islamic State (IS) group from the country for up to 2 years. The person is among the group of 34 Australian women and children who tried to head home after being released from a Syrian camp earlier this week, only to be turned back by Syrian authorities for technical reasons. The ban was issued on advice from security agencies, Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke said on Wednesday, adding that the other 33 people do not meet required legal thresholds to be banned. Canberra has refused to repatriate the group, believed to be made up of the wives, widows, and children of IS fighters. There are 23 children among them. A man has been charged with murder following the death of a woman in Melbourne's north last night. Police responded to reports that a woman had been hit by a car on Seston Street at Reservoir at about 7:40 p.m. yesterday. The woman, who is yet to be identified, died at the scene. A 44-year-old man was arrested at the scene and has been charged with 1 count of murder. He will appear at Melbourne's Magistrates Court today. It is believed that the pair were known to each other. A Polish speed skater is lucky to have not lost an eye after a gruesome crash in the women's 1,500 meters short track quarter-final at Milano Cortina 2026. With 13 laps left, Camilla Cellier was involved in a crash with Italian rival Ariana Fontana. As she went down, the blade of American Kristen Santos Griswold struck her in the face, just below the left eye. Blood immediately began streaming from her face as the crowd in the Milano MSK competition rink let out a collective gasp, and then fell silent as replays were shown. People who set fire to Australia's national flag could be jailed under new legislation aimed at stamping out scenes such as those captured during an Invasion Day protest on January 26. Nationals backbencher Pat Conahan has proposed an amendment to the Flags Act to prohibit the burning or desecration of the Australian national flag, or Australia's maritime flag, the Red Ensign. Also on Monday, Centre Alliance MP Rebecca Sharkey introduced a criminal code amendment to stop the burning or desecration of the Australian flag, the Australian Aboriginal flag, and the Torres Strait Islander flag.